Hello everyone, welcome back to the session. Myself Ramyasri, working as assistant professor in CSE department at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So today I would like to discuss about the topic called as basics of ER model in the database management system. So why we require basics of ER model? So in order to design the ER model, we require some of the things which we draw to model. So the basic components for the ER model are nothing but a first one is entity, second one is attribute, third one is relationship. Based on these three components, the ER model going to be designed. So in this lecture, we'll discuss about what is entity and types of what is attribute, types of attributes, and how many relations, nothing but in which way mapping we can done to different entities from entity to attribute. That we'll discuss in today's session. So first one, I'm going to directly what is entity. So already we know entity is nothing but a object in the real world that should be distinction from the other object. Nothing but everything, whatever we are having in the real world, it may be object, a place, a thing or event. Anything is nothing but an event. So events nothing but here entity is represented by the rectangle representation, because in the ER model we need to represent the pictorial. ER model is a high level pictorial notation to represent the real world problems. So basically we represent entities by using rectangle symbol. So here the entities are nothing but I can take the college management system or university management system. There we have contain some set of entities: student, teacher, department, library. All these comes under the entities of the college management system or university management system. So I can give some more examples of the entities: room, chair, building. Anything what exists in the real world is called an entity. So next I would like to discuss about example. So here I am going to represent the student table with set of columns. The first one is roll number, name, age and mobile number. So coming to these four columns, each and every column we are having the data. Nothing but here 1, 2, 3, 4 are called as a tuples or rows or records of the table. So here what is entity in this table structure? So each and every record or tuple in the table is called an entity. So not only second field, that is 2 is not only entity, 1, 2, 3, 4 all are called as entities. So each and every record or tuple in the table structure is called an entity. So next one we will see what is entity set. So entity set is nothing but a collection of similar entities. So all entities in the entity set having same set of attributes. Suppose I take the student. Student is an entity. So every time the student table will hold not only hold the single student information, it may hold the many student information. So all those student information comes under the entity set of type student, because it contains similar type of information of type student. So that is called as entity set. So here we'll go with the example what is entity set and what is entity type. Previously we discussed what is student, what is teacher. Just we have discussed those are nothing but entities. Now coming to pictorial representation, it not only holds the single column, it not only holds a single row, it contains many rows in the table. When coming to many rows, all those rows in the table are called as entities, and those comes under a single type that is called as entity type. So coming to here, student is a previously we called as entity, now we call as entity type, because under the student type here we are having different types of entities. So here each and every record in the student table is entity that is uniquely identified by the roll number 1, 2, 3, 4. So here E1, E2, E2 are called as the entity sets under the same type of the student. So collection of same type of information under the entity is called as entity set. So all the entities having the same set of properties. Next one we will see what is attribute. So attribute, so every entity there must be an attribute. So without attribute we cannot specify or we cannot elaborate what is entity. With the help of the attribute only, entity can be categorized into different properties. So an entity is represented by the set of attributes which possess the property of an entity. So by using attributes we can determine the properties what are including belonging in the entity. So entity we used to represent by using rectangle symbol. In the similar way, attributes also we represent by using ellipse symbol. So these two representations are different. Entities are rectangles and attributes are ellipses. So previously I considered the student is an entity. So what are the attributes? Previously we see in the table with the SID, S name, S age, S course. So all those comes under the attributes or properties of the student entity. So this is an example for the attributes. Now let us see the types of attributes supported by the ER model. So the first one is simple attribute, simple attribute and composite attribute. Second one is single valued attribute and multi-valued attribute. Third one, derived attribute and stored attribute. And fourth one is key attribute. Now we'll discuss each and every one in detail. What is each and every attribute and how they take in different manner. Now let us see the first one, simple attribute. So this focus only on the whatever the attributes or properties we give to the entity. So simple attribute, an attribute is called as simple because it contains only atomic value, nothing but a which cannot be divided into further. Nothing but there will be only single attribute for the given entity. It is called as the simple attribute. So which cannot be further divided. Suppose here I can give the example student. I am taking same example entity. So what are the attributes of the student? SID, nothing but roll number is a one attribute, age is the one attribute, name is one attribute, and their age, their date of birth is another attribute. These are set of attributes we include to student. So coming to here, when we go with the first attribute of the student, roll number, so roll number cannot be divided into further. So because obviously it will be attached to the entity type student single one, because roll number cannot be categorized, because the student can be easily identified, uniquely identified only by using that roll number attribute. So here example of the simple attribute is roll number, that is represented in the oval symbol. Next one, composite attribute. So composite attribute is exactly reverse to the simple attribute. So here attribute can be further divided. There may be multiple options for the single attribute. It is called as a composite attribute. For here I am going to give example. Suppose I take the name of the student. When I take the name of the student, the name can be again categorized into three types. First one is first name, second name and middle name. So in this way we can categorize the name attribute into further. So that's why name is called as a composite attribute and roll number is called as a simple attribute, because roll number cannot be further divided, but coming to name, it is further divided into first name, middle name and the last name. So that's why name is the composite attribute and roll number is the simple attribute. All these attributes are linked to same entity only. Nothing but we need to identify before going to draw ER model. We need to identify what are the simple attributes and what are the composite attributes. Now next one, single value attribute. So what is single value attribute? So this is totally different from the simple and composite. This totally focus only on the value which we assign to the attribute. Up to now we focused only on the attributes which we attach to the entity, but here we focus on the data, nothing but a value which we assign to the attribute is focused by using single value attribute and the multi-value attribute. So here what is value? Suppose here I take the student SID. So SID contains only one value. Next, SName contains how many values? SName contains 2 or 3 values. So depends upon the values we use. So based on that values, we determine whether it is a single valued attribute or multi-valued attribute. So if an attribute contains only single value, it is called as a simple or single value attribute. So for example, I can give here student age and the student gender. So gender can be only one value, that can be either male or female, and student age can be either in the anyone. It does not contain the multiple values. So these two comes under student age and the student gender comes under the single value attribute, where we can assign only one value for the attribute for the corresponding entity. And it is also represented by using ellipse. So here we can consider section is also a single value attribute, because a student can study only a single section at a time, not two or more. So that's why section is also comes under the single value attribute. Next one, multi-valued attribute. So exactly opposite to the single value, it contain attribute contains multiple values, then it is called as a multi-valued attribute. And here in the multi-valued attribute is represented by the double ellipse in the ER diagram. So it is represented by the double ellipse in the ER diagram. So here I can give the example when you consider the student or teacher, any person, so they should be having the email. Email is a property of the student or teacher entity. So a person can have the one or more email IDs. So email comes under the multi-valued entity, or once, or we can call it as a name is also comes under the multi-valued entity. Sorry, name is not a multi-valued, it's a composite. So email ID, and we can take the one more, that is a phone number. Phone number is also called as multi-valued entity attribute because a person can have any number of mobile numbers. So here examples are email ID and the phone number, and here multi-value attribute should be represented in the double ellipse. Now next we are moving to the next one, that is stored attribute. So what is stored attribute? So we have discussed about attributes and values of attributes. Based on those two, we have categorized into 4 types. Now coming to stored attribute, this attribute is also focused on the value which we give to the attribute, but the value of this attribute should be given by the user, and whatever the value he or she should given, that is used for finding the value of the other attribute. So why we are storing the value? Because the value which we store here, that will be useful for the other attribute to extract the result. For that purpose, we use the stored attributes. For example, I can give student date of birth should be given by student only. No one can give because he only should know about the regarding his date of birth. So this date of birth is nothing but a stored attribute is given by the user, and it will be holding in the storage, which will be used by the other attribute to extract the result. And it is also denoted by an ellipse. Next one, derived attribute. Now here, what is derived? So derived is nothing but extracting the value from the other attribute is called as derived attribute. So just now I told you, whatever the value we stored in the stored attribute, based on that value, we are going to decide the value of the other attribute. So here derived attribute always extract or derive the value from the stored attribute based upon the value, based upon the attribute we mentioned there. So because here, why? Because every time we need to approach the stored attribute, because when the age of the person will be keep on changing, the age of the person for the current year is different from the age of the person for the next year. So every time we need to extract the value of the age of the person from the stored attribute, that is date of birth. So based upon the date of birth only, we can categorize the, we can get the correct value of the person age. So that's why because we are extracting, this will be keep on changing. The age will be keep on changing from year to year. So such type of attributes will extract the result from the other attribute, that is called as stored attribute. And this derived attribute should be represented by using dashed oval symbol. So here what I can give the examples. So age is nothing but a derived attribute. Always this age attribute will extract the result from the stored attribute. So this is a representation in the dashed oval. Now next one, last attribute, that is key attribute. What is key attributes? So this key attribute plays a major role in creating the record and creating the table, because this attribute uniquely identifies a particular record in the entity or entity type. Nothing but in a table also, each and every record will be uniquely identified by using key attribute only. Suppose I take the example of roll number of a student. So each and every student roll number is different from each other. So we can tell roll number is uniquely identified. Based upon the roll number, we can easily identify the names of the students, because 2 or more students have the same names. It is very tough to categorize without roll numbers. It is very tough to categorize with the names. So that's why key attributes plays a major role in uniquely identifying each and every record in the table. So here example. So, and not only here, this key attribute plays a major role in the relational model also to perform to represent the primary key of the table. So in the table we mention the primary key, in the ER model we mention it as a key attribute. So with the help of that primary key, each and every record is uniquely identified, and this key attribute is denoted by the oval symbol, and that should be text should be underlined format. So this is the key attribute. So already we discussed roll number is always placed as a key attribute because which uniquely identifies a record. It may be same name contents and some 10 to 20 students, even though we can able to categorize depends upon the roll number only. So that's why key attribute plays a major role in identifying the each and every record individually and uniquely. So this is a representation how we use for the key attribute. Now next one, the third component which we require to design the ER model is relationship. So what is relationship? So what will happen if we won't use relationship? So up to now we know what is entity, what is attribute, and what is entity set. Just we have categorized entities and attributes. But in order to provide, in order to combine, in order to exchange the information and relate the two different entities to different tables, we majorly require and the final component is relationship. So relationship plays a major role in relating to different entities or to different tables. So here relationship forms an association between two entity types, and it is denoted by a diamond shape. So here I can give the example, a teacher and the student. Teacher is an entity and student is another entity. So what is the relationship between the teacher and the student? A teacher is in a type, entity type, and student is an entity type. So teacher always teaches the student. So here teachers is nothing but a relationship exists between two entities, that is teacher and the student. So in this way we need to identify the relationship between two entities and design the ER model. So now we will see types of relations what we can be used in the ER model. So totally we are having 4 types of relations. First one is one to one, second one is one to many, third one is many to one, and fourth one is many to many. So based upon these 4 relations, we are able to relate to different entities of different types. So first one we will go into one to one. So what is one to one? So here one to one is nothing but this type of relationship exists when one record of a table is related to one record of another table. So here one record in one table is related to one record in another table, then there forms a one-to-one relationship. So here I can give the example here. So here we go with the example. So I have taken the person is an entity and the passport is also an entity, and this has is called as a relationship. These two entities, person and passport, are going to relate by using has relationship, by using diamond symbol, and here I am going to use one to one. So here one represent first one to one representation, one to one. Why? Because one to one, a person can have only one passport only. So from the we are looking from the person can have only one passport towards the passport. When we come across with the passport, and one passport can be given only for the one person only. So that's why there is one to one relationship between the person and the passport, and these two are two different entities, and the relationship is has. Next type of relationship, one to many. So this type of relationship exists when one record of table is related to many records of another table. Nothing but one record in one table is related to many records of another table is called as one to many relationship. Example of this one to many relationship, again you are going to relate two different entities with a relationship has. First entity is customer, second entity is account. So a customer can have the n number of accounts, nothing but one customer. So that's why here mentioned one to many. So one customer can have any number of accounts in the bank, and n number of accounts should be handled only by using only one customer. So that's why a customer and the account relationship exists one to any. The customer can handle any number of accounts. Next one, third relationship, that is many to one. That is exactly reverse to the previous one. So this type of relationship exists when when many more records of one table is related to one record of another table, then such type of relationship take place. So here I am going with the example of the student and the college. So how many students can be studied in a college? So there may be possibility many students can be studied in a single college. So here one college can maintain the data of that particular n number of students who are studying, but college cannot maintain the data of another college students. So one college can maintain only the students who are under the students who are studying under their college. So here the student is nothing but n number of students are linked to one college. So here the relationship between the student and the course is many to one. So many students should relate to one college. Nothing but many students study in only one college. And the same, this many students cannot study in another college at a time. So that's why here I mentioned only one. So because many can be related to only one college. Next, last one, that is many to many. So this type of relationship exists when many records in one table is related to many records in the another table. So many to many relationship between two different entities, then we need to make use of many to many mapping cardinality. So here I am going to take the example, customer is an entity and the product is another entity. So here in the online purchasing, n number of nothing but many customers can buy the same product or many different products, and many products can be brought by many customers. So here many to many relationship exists between the customer and product in the online shopping management system. So here always m number of customers buys n products, and n products will be brought by m number of customers. So these are the four relationships, and these are called as a mapping cardinalities which exist between two different entities. So these are the basics of ER model. First one is entity, second one is attribute, and third one is a relation. Based upon these three things, we are going to design the ER model in the next section. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.